abstain. Otherwise, you're not going to have a good marriage. Wonderful message. The one that I like is two women talking to another woman and saying, snap out of it, sister. Snap out of it. You're just crazy. That fellow can run around with so many people. Have a little pride. Have a little pride. Snap out of it. And then comes the virgin pride, virgin power. You get your mix yourself. But in terms of what I would say, it's a pastoral issue, certainly. You try to deal with it pastorally yourself without saying, condoms, all problems will be solved. And what would it mean to condomize the society? Would that promote stronger families? Would that promote stronger respect of women? Would that promote stronger responsibility of men? On the other hand, let's say, never, just don't even touch that sort of thing. Well, what about family, husband and wife, infected? What about young people that are going to walk, or a husband that's going to go off and do things? Well, number one, they're sinning. So do we say, no, we want you to sin morally by not using a condom? What kind of a moral theology is that? Is this going on television? Yes, really. Any other questions?
One question I have, and this deals with something you mentioned, acid, and that's genetically modified organisms. And one of the reasons I raised the question is because when you look at, let's say, the values and the sources of Catholic social thought, those things don't always legally and kind of significantly support one side of a given issue. Sometimes there's tensions between the two of them. So the option for the poor and the intention for creation can sometimes lead people of goodwill who are both committed to Catholic social thought to different positions on that argument. How do you, I mean, I know you're opposed to genetically modified organisms, but how do you understand the way in which Catholic social thought can move that question forward without polarization that can break down the dialogue?
Well, one thing is to have the dialogue. And the reason I say that with that sort of a sense is there are a couple of officials in the Vatican. One was the delegate, the ambassador to the United Nations, who would be more favorable, he currently heads the Justice and Peace, who would be more favorable or more open to the use of GMOs to feed the hungry and stuff. He's spoken about this and stuff. So the Vatican has hosted a couple of conferences on this issue. 2 years ago, that through they didn't invite the people who'd spoken against it. They didn't invite the Brazilian bishops who put out a pastoral letter, the Philippine bishops, or the South African bishops, or the people in Zambia who had spoken about it. But eventually, we were asked to prepare one of the papers, and Roland Lesseps from a colleague went to present it himself. Last year, just last September, another conference was held, sponsored by the United States Embassy, in cooperation with the Pontifical Commission for Science. And no one was invited except 8 people in favor of GMOs. So we wrote and asked and said, well, would you like to have a dialogue? Because these are controversial issues. Not that we're right, but maybe you're not right either, though it's a dialogue. They wrote back and said, we already know your position. Well, I don't think that's a way of advancing. That's not a way of advancing the dialogue or something. It is a tension, and in the class I was just with, they were one of them raised the question about, maybe you people who are well-fed are holding this position up while a lot of people are hungry. Well, part of the moral principle, the ethical principle is, a principle of precaution. We may be dealing with something that feeds some hungry people now, but puts in place something that will cause greater hunger in the future. And until we know those things, we've got to deal. And so I think that there's an issue. There's 2 articles to pay attention to. One I wrote, and you can imagine what it says. It'll be in Sojourners magazine in the April edition. But the current one, the current issue of America magazine, I just got a printout copy. There's an article written by a priest, Father Coleman, who teaches at the seminary.
Very cool.
Yes. Is he in the audience now? No. Anyway, it's an article which is a kind of an effort to be balanced. What are the arguments that he says? GMOs are great. They should spread it all, the United States. GMOs are not great, we shouldn't spread it, it goes myself and others. And then, no, you know, we need to look at it kind of precautionary and things like that. But maybe promote it some. But then he has a line, which is going to be a letter to the editor in America next week or so, hopefully. Because his line says, you know, given the fact that there were hungry people there at the moment while this debate's going on, it is a scandal that African governments, Zambia being one, refuse to admit GMO. I think it's a greater scandal that the United States, when told we wouldn't accept your GMOs, didn't say, well, okay, here's some money to buy non-GMO from Kenya, which was willing to sell it, from India, which is willing to sell it. But the United States says, we don't give money. European Union gives money. We don't give money, we give grain. Take it or leave it. I think that's a greater scandal. So the answer to your question is, one of the ways to come to better decisions on these things is keep the dialogue open. On our parts, you know, we'll oppose it, be willing to, you know, exchange. And on somebody else's part, be willing to exchange also. Those of you who have access to, well, not too many would, maybe it gets published. The Jesuit yearbook comes out every year. And the current Jesuit yearbook has an article by the two other Jesuits and myself who've been working on this issue, written at the request of Father General, because he wanted the discussion to go on. And in it, we tell this incredible story about how Colin Powell tried to get us kicked out, and how the U.S. ambassador to the Vatican went to see Father General to have us silent. Something else is going on in a kind of scientific humanitarian debate, a lot of economic debate. The GMO issue is so controversial because Europe has said no and the U.S., European Union has said no and the U.S. wants to get trade. Keep the dialogue open. I think we've exhausted this. Thank you again for the opportunity. Please keep Africa in mind and in prayer. And this year particularly, follow the debates going on. And if you need more information, www.jctr.org.zm. The current page is not right up to date. It will be up to date in another day or so. But it'll have a lot of this information. And then the archives, a lot of the articles, etc., on the social teaching and these issues.
Thank you very much, and I'd just like to remind you that the next talk in this series, I'm actually taking my glasses off, I can't read this, but actually the next talk is on Tuesday, and we will be welcoming Professor Susan Ross of Loyola University of Chicago, who will speak topic again. Can God be a bride. So please join us for that.
And that one is, by the way, back up on North Township in room 140.
Thank you very much.